Hi everybody, your real estate expert Lance Moore, and today we're talking about how to buy a house. So I want to talk to you about the most common myths and some of the most popular questions I get as a real estate agent from home buyers. Alright, so let's get into some of the myths and questions I get. One of the most common ones I get, and I hear this quite often, is I'm buying a house and I want to work directly with the real estate agent, the listing agent. And I'm always a little surprised by this when I have people ask me this, especially if I'm the listing agent. And I'm surprised because I would think every buyer knows I already have not only a written contract, but a fiduciary responsibility to the seller to represent them in their home sale. So I just don't think this is a good idea. When you're looking at buying a house, I don't think it's a good idea to be going to the listing agent directly. That's why I put this video series together, because I really want you to be able to find a really good agent no matter where you are. So do your due diligence. Ask agents questions. Don't forget the most important one, why should I work with you? And find yourself a good agent and let them do the work. Because at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in the most cases in a disadvantage. And sometimes people say, well, I could usually get a better deal. Well, look, at the end of the day, that's not really the case, because again, they have a written contract. And the contract isn't between the real estate agent, it's between the company, the brokerage, and the seller. So a lot of times they might be saying you're getting a good deal, but then you find out in the back end at closing that it was the seller that gave you the good deal. It had nothing to do with the real estate agent. So go out and choose wisely, choose a really good agent, have them represent you. It's not really going to cost you any money, and you can have them do all the work. Just make sure you get a really good agent. I also get a lot of times people saying, well, I'm going to go buy a new home. And I don't think I need a real estate agent, because sometimes they just don't think they need one. Or two, they think they could maybe save more money if they don't have one. And it takes me back to when I first got into real estate. It was one of my first weeks in real estate, and I get a call from a gentleman. He's the nicest guy in the world. Called me up. We started talking about what he was looking for, what he wanted in a house. And he said, well, I have an appointment set up with a builder tomorrow, because in all honesty, I think I could just get a better deal without a real estate agent. And I said, well, David, if you think you could get a better deal, then you need to talk to that builder. You need to do what's best for you and your family. But let me just tell you something, and take it with a grain of salt. And he said, okay. And I said, just give me a few minutes. So I said, let me ask you a question. The builder has five people that have problems. Say 4 of them have realtors, 1 of them doesn't. I said, who's the last person on the totem pole? Well, he said, probably, and I said, that's right, the person without the realtor. I said, so 2 problems get resolved. 2 more come on board. They have realtors. Who's the last person on the totem pole? I said, if you don't have a realtor, and he said, yeah, it's probably me. And I said, well, do you know why that is? And he said, well, no, not really. And I said, well, there's a couple reasons. I said, but at the end of the day, 70-80% of all the builders' business is coming from real estate agents. And this is a business. They know if they tick you off, okay, you may never buy from them again, but you're probably not going to buy from them in the beginning. And you're probably not, over the next year, 5, 10 years, ever refer a family member, a coworker, or a friend that will ever buy from them, correct? I said, you think they know this? And he said, well, yeah. I said, the other thing is, you're dealing with corporations. I said, corporations don't work on a one-on-one basis. I said, so you're dealing with a corporation that might build hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of homes a year. I said, if their year end is December 31st, and their year begin is January 1st, I said, they're going to put all their projections together in November. Maybe October, but probably November. And they're going to have everything in there. They're going to have where they're building, how much they're building for. They're going to have all their marketing, their advertising, their real estate budget for real estate agents, their sales rep budget. They're going to have everything in there already. I said, and it's all going to be put in there for their projections for the following year. I said, so whether you work with a real estate agent or whether you don't work with a real estate agent, it doesn't make any difference. It's already in the budget. Does that make sense? This isn't a one-on-one business. This is a corporation, and that's how corporations work. And he said, well, yeah, I actually guess it does make sense. I said, all right, so go ahead and, talk to the builder tomorrow. And this is, if I mentioned, one of the largest builders in the nation. So he went and talked to the builder, and they're like, no, it doesn't really make any difference to us if you work with an agent or not. So I represented him. We're 4 months down the line. He's doing a brick home. They put the wrong color of brick on. They tell him to just come in and get their money. Now you think, well, why would a builder tell someone to just come and get their earnest money? Because the home price is already increased. If they give him back his earnest money, he's going to walk. They could sell the home at a higher price. Not only that, they don't have to deal with ripping all the brick off and doing the right thing. And they have exits in their contract that allows for this stuff. So he basically called me up. I called the rep. I called the sales manager. Long story short, we got the whole home rebricked. In a lot of instances, a real estate agent, certainly one that really knows new construction, and if you don't know new construction, I have an incredible video on my YouTube channel and on my website that goes over from A to Z new construction. But if you get an agent that knows new construction, then they're in a lot of cases going to be able to get you a better deal than you could get on your own. And what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is you have a perfect time building a home. Best case scenario is you have a perfect time building a home. Worst case scenario, you're like David. They mess up, they tell you to just come in and get your money. And this happens all the time. Builder reps are always really, really nice. But at the end of the day, when something goes wrong, you could guarantee their bread is buttered from the builder, not from you. They're taking the builder's side, and they're going to do what their sales manager says. So I get that. I get that every once in a while. Let's see, a couple other ones I get. Finding a home myself. And a lot of times people will want to look with a home by themselves, and it's sort of tied down to what I talked about earlier. These websites like Zillow, Trulia, I think I could find a home on my own, or I'm using these sites like Zillow and Trulia. Look, get off of Zillow and Trulia. I know I said this before. At the end of the day, they're not nonprofit organizations. They're trying to capture your information. They want to sell your information. There's a lot of companies out there like that. If you're going to go on any of them, and I just Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Homes.com, RealEstateBook.com. The list just goes on. Realtor.com is one of the better ones out of them, but certainly an agent's individual website or a company website, and I would probably say an agent's individual website's going to be a lot better because they're not trying to mislead you and misdirect you and stuff like this. So keep in mind, we all get our information from the exact same place. Okay, so it's just how they deliver the data and what they want to do with it. But I would get off of those sites and, again, go find a really good real estate agent. Why do everything yourself when an agent doesn't cost anything? And we're so lucky to be in the United States and even Canada, where we have the multiple listing service, and we're this way. Because if any of you have come from Eastern Bloc countries or Western Europe or South America, Central America, this stuff doesn't exist. It is very difficult to not only find a home, but sell a home. Another one I get, and I don't really get this here, but I used to get this a lot when I was in Dallas. If you're in an area that does a lot of corporate relocations, they tell you have to use the real estate agent. You do not have to use the real estate agent whether you're buying a home or selling a home. All the relocation company cares about is they get their referral fee. All your employer cares about is that you're happy. So as long as you pick a real estate agent that will work with the relocation company you're working with, then you're good to go. And in a lot of cases, I wouldn't recommend using their referral, and here's why. the relocation company, let's just call it ABC Realty, they go to a big relocation company. I don't care, Coldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway, Century 21, ERA, they go to a big company. In a lot of cases, when they call the manager at the big company for the relocation, the manager generally selects an agent that's not a high caliber agent, because they're on a much higher split to the office and a lower split to them. They're probably on a 50-50. Where if they want to get one of their high caliber agents, they're probably paying much more, like an 80-20 split. So you're generally getting an agent that's not really that great. I'm not saying in all cases. It could be very nice. But again, when you're working with an agent, you don't know what you don't know. And so, niceness doesn't cut it. You want someone who's really knowledgeable and can negotiate like a pit bull, like a piranha. Pick your own agent, do your research, see if your agent will work with them, but don't be fooled in that you have to use their agent. It's absolutely not true. So those are probably the biggest, I would say, that I get from consumers. And if you have any questions, if you have any myths you heard of, give me a comment. Leave me a comment. Let me know your questions. Let me know what myths you have. Be more than happy to answer them, help you out. I know different areas of the country work a little bit different. So just know that. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I'd like to have a thumbs up from you. And I wish you the best of luck looking for your home, no matter where you are. Have a wonderful day.